Welcome back, Patriots. This is take 2. I started the video and then it's the other screen, and I had my the microphone was shut off again. Pepe, he's unable to make it again. I was like, Pepe, you have a problem, dude. You got a meme problem, dude. So yeah, I had to do an intervention with Pepe. So we got an intern here. We got MAGA girl. Boom girl couldn't make it. Pepe says he's doing fine. He'll be back. And I don't know, like all my options got like reset. Like I had to redo everything. So I don't have the text that's on top. I mean, I could do it really fast if I really wanted to, but because there's new Que drops. And so yeah, so the microphone was working on this screen, but when I switched over, it wasn't working on this screen. Like, I can turn it off, right? But I just had it switched off because I can easily just click on it, and who cares? Pepe will make an appearance. Why not? Pepe, where you at? Where you at, dude? This is Pepe via satellite. So he's always with us, alright? Pray for Pepe. So we left off at 47:14. Gives us 47:15. Gives us a picture. Gives us a picture of a loser. At FBI Portland Q. I guess his name is Banks. Oh, okay. So it is that guy. And they are open. Why are y'all trying to burn down the courthouse? I bet you were out looting too. Because, F the feds. Good rating it up with your gang. No, but I wish I was. And that's why they are effing y'all up. Good job. I love Lewis and Rolex. Weird how they aren't though. Feds already got run out of town once. Poor guys. You're gonna love being dead too when you keep effing with them and they show you writing isn't a joke. Either that or you're going to jail, buddy. That was my phone. Oops. Got 4717. Call for direct action after the news today. Stay safe. Stay dangerous. What in the what? We got all the hashtags. You know, you can clearly see the picture. I ain't gonna. And Hive on Twitter. Right, so these people were obviously intentionally trying to start these fires. And then this is just a post from Anon, but whenever Q does this, he's just referencing an Anon post. Kind of just giving them a nod, being like, yeah, you're on the correct, yeah, that's pretty much what they did. Be water, spread fire. They are using the cover of sharing water / bringing water to first responders as cover to move around, spreading fire. Sick bastards. Gives us a Twitter, 4720.
Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage. Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting.
Got a YouTube link. 4721.
Are you tired of the media spinning the truth and pushing false narratives? Well, take a look at this. Over the last 3 years, while the establishment media was pushing false narratives and
we're going to do that again right now. Li Mengyan is the virologist who says she has evidence about where this pandemic actually came from. We're happy to have her on tonight. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, Tucker. Hi, Tucker. Thank you.
Thank you. I know that you've published some of your research. You're planning on publishing more soon. Give us, for a non-scientific audience, a summary of why you believe this virus came from a lab in Wuhan, please.
Okay, briefly, from my first report, I can present the solid scientific evidence to our audience that this virus, COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 virus, actually is not from nature. It is a man-made virus created in the lab based on the China military discovered and owned the very unique bat coronavirus, which cannot affect people, but after the modification becomes the very harmful virus at now. So I have evidence to show why they can do it, what they have done, how did they do it.
So what you're saying is much more sinister even than we've suggested on this show, than Tom Cotton, than almost anyone suggested. You're saying that the Chinese government manufactured this virus, if I'm hearing you correctly. That's what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Based on the virus genome, it's basically like our fingerprint. So you can see the very unusual characters in their genome, which clearly, based on the other evidence they left during the modification, we can say finally this is exactly the one come from their own special bat coronavirus and then target human.
What you're alleging is shocking more even than I anticipated when we invited you on. So I just want to ask the most obvious question, which is this genome presumably is in the possession of many researchers around the world. Why is nobody saying this if it's true?
Yeah, why there is nobody want to say it is because of the big suppression come from the Chinese Communist Party government and also their friend in scientific world. So basically, this is very clearly that this virus is like Frankenstein. So he created those things like basically a cow has deer's head, has rabbit's ear, and also have monkey's hand. So they can never get it from the nature. And there were evidence left in the genome. But the scientific world also keeps silence, work together with Chinese Communist Party. They don't want people to know this truth. Also, that's why I get suspended, I get suppression. I am the target that Chinese Communist Party won't be disappeared.
You're a brave person. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and assuming you're not an anti-Chinese racist, so it's not clear why Twitter would shut you down or why you're being ignored by the rest of the U.S. media. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Why would the Chinese government intentionally create a virus like this?
Okay, if you want to know the exact motive, the exact idea, I think people have to come to ask them, ask Communist Party, why did they do it? Because they are the one do it. We cannot always understand their evil thinking. You have to come to ask them. But what we see already proves that they have done that. It harmed everyone in the world, lead to the historic pandemic, involve everyone.
How do you believe this virus made its way from the lab in Wuhan outside to the rest of the world?
Okay, first, as I said, I have this kind of solid scientific evidence, and also my next report will come out soon to make you fully understand it is. The other thing is, I work in the WHO reference lab, which is the top coronavirus lab in the world in the University of Hong Kong. And since I get deeply into such investigation in secret from the early beginning of this outbreak, I had my intelligence because I also get my own unique network in China, involve the hospital, institute, and also government. Also, I work with the top coronavirologists in the world. So together with my experience, I can tell you, this is created in the lab. This is from that template owned by China military. And also it is spread to the world to make such damage.
To make such damage, do you believe the Chinese government released this intentionally, on purpose? Did they do this?
Yes, of course, it's intentionally. And even no need more evidence, you already can see what they try to cover up from the early beginning as I reviewed in different medias before, and also what else they have done, like making the fabricated virus to throw out the natural origin theory, censorship, everything that every evidence point to the lab origins, and also clearly try to make people like me want to talk about the truth get disappeared.
You know, it's hard to be shocked in a moment like this, but you have succeeded in shocking me. Unfortunately, this is not the forum for the details of your research. I don't have the grounding necessary to ask you the right questions. This is when you wish for a functioning media, because what you just said completely changes everything we think we know about the pandemic that's wrecking our country. So I really hope, sincerely, that you will be doing many interviews in American media and explaining this in much greater detail.
Thank
and I hope
you.
you'll come back here. Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you. Everyone needs to know the truth.
Yeah. Shocking. Thank you.
We are
There we go, folks, right? And again, I'll say it. Is it weird that I have a crush on Laura Ingraham? I don't know why. I just do. I don't know. I just think she's hot. I don't know. And continuing on. Add it all up. Number 1, virus. Number 2, riots, organized, Antifa, kill brackets. Or, just in brackets. I don't like to say kill brackets. 3, fires. The why. For all you PewDiePie fans out there, why? Like he's very cool. He does his own thing. I guess another video. Gosh, dude. I hope it's not.
Someone who's been watching all of this is Darren Beattie. He's a former speechwriter for President Trump. He works now with Revolver News, the website. He says this is part of a familiar plan. In a recent piece, Revolver argued that Democratic operatives, including some who testified during the impeachment proceedings, are adopting the same tactics that U.S. intel agencies use to start so-called color revolutions in places like Ukraine. Darren Beattie joins us tonight to explain. Darren, thanks so much for coming on. So, for our viewers who are not familiar with the color revolutions in Eastern Europe, state as clearly as you can what you think is going on right now in this election. What's the end game for Democrats?
Yes, thank you for having me. Many have described the actions taken against Trump as a coup. And this is certainly correct, but it's a little bit general and vague. What's unfolding before our eyes is a very specific type of coup called the color revolution. It's a regime change model favored by many in our national security apparatus, particularly against Eastern European countries, to overthrow, target regimes that they don't like. One model, which is not the color revolution model, is purely sending a bunch of troops into a country and removing by military force a leader you don't like. That's like the Iraq model.
Right.
The color revolution model is a little bit more delicate and subtle. It has several characteristics, but the chief characteristics of it is a combination of an engineered contested elections scenario combined with massive mobilized protests, which they call, as a term of art, peaceful protests and acts of civil disobedience. If that sounds familiar, it gets even better. It's not only the same strategies and tactics used against Trump that's used against Eastern European dictators that our national security apparatus doesn't like. It's literally the same people who who are color revolution professionals who have a long history of using these same tactics against foreign leaders they don't like to use against democratically elected President Donald Trump. It's the same people using the very same playbook. Now, I'd like to talk about one of the key figures in this operation, a nexus point not only between color revolutions overseas and the color revolution against Trump, but a nexus point between lawfare and mass mobilization and so-called peaceful protests. This is a man by the name of Norm Eisen. Norm Eisen is a key legal hatchet man, Democrat operative, former Obama ethics czar, believe it or not. And he is also a key architect of nearly every effort to censor, sue, impeach, and overthrow the president. He is the author of, in fact, a color revolution playbook, literally called the playbook. And one of the items he calls for in his playbook to overthrow regimes overseas he doesn't like is engineering election fraud scenarios, using election fraud to engineer mass protests to question the legitimacy of the target leader. Norm Eisen has a long and checkered history going all the way back to his days at Crew, which is a lawfare arm. He's been behind over 180 lawsuits against Trump. He authored 10 articles of impeachment before the president's phone call was even made. He was special counsel to the Democrats for the impeachment process. He was literally involved in every aspect of this color revolution against Trump. His latest act, and perhaps his greatest act coming up, is to use lawfare in order to overturn the 2020 election, using various legal theories, principally his theory about...
Norm Eisen. Remember the name. I'm sorry, Darren, we're out of time. I appreciate that. We'll be right back. Thank you.
So then it continues, make no mistake, they will not concede on election night. Make no mistake, they will not contest too legally in battleground states. Make no mistake, they will project doubt in the election results. Make no mistake, they will organize massive riots and attempt anarchy. 99 design, playbook known. Alright, Q. This is, if you go back and you read the first Q drops from the very beginning, this is what they're going to attempt to do. These Democrat, deep state, swamp creatures, they know they can't win the election. So they're going to just try to pin it as to where they're just going to say, oh shoot, there's, gosh. So they're just going to say that, hey, Trump cheated. He didn't win. He didn't actually win. And you're going to see massive riots. Don't be surprised if your power gets shut off all over the U.S. That's why I emphasize on be prepared. Excuse me. Have food available. Have water available. Because this is what they're going to try to do. I'm just trying to inform you now, dude, before, like, once it happens, you're going to be like, what the heck just happened? All the stores are going to be completely empty. Everything, people are going to be looting, robbing people just to survive. It's gonna get insane, folks. Just my opinion. But it's right, but isn't it better to be safe than sorry? I'm prepared. You know, at least just have stock up on at least like 2 months worth of just food, water, and that's it. It ain't gonna. But Q also said that it won't last no more than a month, 20 days. Patriots got it. They know what they're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to contain it as best to their ability. But it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Okay? $47.23. Gives us a little clip of a tweet. WSJ, AG Barr tells prosecutors to consider charging violent prosecutors with sedition. I have to steal this meme. Excuse me 1 second. And I guess he's acknowledging this Anon's post. The media is complicit. Fact checkers created to reinforce the same narrative. Propaganda in brackets. They themselves created. Social media censor, terminate, silence, anti-narrative accounts. Echo, system of control, mission. Keep the public controlled and in the dark. Information warfare. They don't want you knowing real information. They just want you to be a sheep. Okay. Now we're at, I think this is the last one. 47.24. Why did it take an outsider to finally deliver the start of peace in the Middle East? Right? What just happened? The peace treaty that just happened with Israel and United, how do you say that? Aramids? I can't say it. Right? How is that not on the headlines? How is that not headlining news right now? That's historic. But you're no coverage from Mockingbird, fake news media. Nope. Orange Man bad. News coverage, front pages, a question mark. Like, why isn't that news? Why is it that this president was the only one to do that? He's ending these worldwide wars, and nobody cares. The mainstream media won't cover it. Missile strikes attempt to terminate. Peace doesn't sell. War, fear in brackets, does. Dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, right? Evil and corruption at highest levels. Q. And right here, that's the military industrial complex. They want us in constant wars so these corrupt officials can constantly line their pockets with funneled money through their foundations, and all of it, dude. Like, it doesn't really, it's not that hard once you really find it all out. Let me refresh. Oh, shoot. Welcome back, friends, patriots, worldwide. But I'm pretty sure nobody worldwide watches this. MAGA girl brought to my attention why I wasn't wearing my MAGA hat. But I was like literally recording my last video. So, and then my roommate knocks on my door and is having trouble connecting his computer to his TV. And he was using the old cable. I was like, dude, just do it through HDMI. It just connects automatically, dude. Like, it's fast. And that's my phone. I just got a message. And, but yeah. And as soon as I got that knock on the door, there's a new Q drop. More. I don't know why it does that automatic. I have to shut that off. So I left off here at 47.24. And then you got 47.25. And then Anon just posts this one. Drop 37.88. And we can clearly go back and look it up. Correction will be needed. All surveillance regarding POTUS. Hops will be concluded that there was insufficient prediction to establish probable cause. Q. I can't decode that off the top of my head. I'm sure if I did the research I will be able to, but I'm just reading it as is. Because I wasn't making these videos back in shit. Gives us a Twitter status.
Event that brings together the world's finest aerospace leaders and professionals. First and foremost, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to the United States Air Force. For 73 years and counting, you have provided our nation with unlimited reach, unmatched power, and unyielding vigilance across the globe. As we look toward the next 7 decades and beyond, emerging technologies are fundamentally altering the character of warfare. Our air, space, and cyber personnel will be at the forefront of tomorrow's high-end fight. In the years ahead, wars will be fought not just on land and sea, as they have for thousands of years, or in the air as they have for the past century, but also in outer space and cyberspace in unprecedented ways. Preparing for this requires modernizing our force for high-intensity conflict. It requires strengthening our network of allies and partners, and it requires expanding our warfighting capabilities across all 5 of these domains. In this era of great power competition, we cannot take for granted the United States' long-held advantages. The Air Force, in particular, has maintained uncontested air superiority for decades, with persistent intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and precision airstrikes anytime, anywhere. However, our near-peer rivals, China and Russia, seek to erode our long-standing dominance in air power through long-range fires, anti-access aerial denial systems, and other asymmetric capabilities designed to counter our strengths. Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage. Furthermore, our competitors and adversaries exploit cyberspace to undermine our security without confronting our conventional strengths. They do this all in an increasingly gray zone of engagement that keeps us in a perpetual state of competition. The National Defense Strategy guides us as we adapt the force to this challenging, complex security environment by, first, divesting from legacy systems, second, reinvesting in our highest priorities, and third, making the tough choices required to break from the status quo and continue outpacing the competition. Thanks to our largest research and development budget in the department's history, we are advancing critical technologies to maintain our military edge in areas such as hypersonic weapons, directed energy, and autonomous systems. In the Air Force specifically, we are modernizing our force for the 21st century with aircraft such as the B-21, the X-37, and the next generation air dominance platform. Equally important, we are transforming the way we fight through the implementation of novel concepts such as dynamic force employment, DFE, which provides scalable options to employ the joint force while preserving our capabilities for major combat. Perhaps one of the strongest and most visible examples of DFE is in our Bomber Task Force mission, Through a quick reaction, persistent, long-term bomber presence around the globe, the Air Force has not only increased aircraft readiness and aircraft availability, but has also provided a wider range of options for combatant commanders across multiple areas of responsibility. For example, in our priority theater, the Indo-Pacific, B-1s and B-2s from multiple bases, along with F-15s and F-35s, recently conducted joint maneuvers with Japanese fighters as part of a large force exercise with the USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group. And just a few weeks ago, 6 B-52s overflew all 30 NATO countries in a single day, integrating with a wide array of Allied fighters to demonstrate our ironclad commitment to the NATO alliance. These are just two examples of how dynamic force deployment provides strategic predictability to our allies while remaining operationally unpredictable to our foes. In order to realize the full potential of this and other novel concepts, we must
I think I played way too much of that video. Shoot, man, this is gonna be long.
Important event that brings together the world's finest aerospace leaders and professionals. First and foremost, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to the United States Air Force. For 73 long-range fires, anti-axis aerial denial systems, and others, the B-21, the X, integrating with a wide array of Allied fighters to demonstrate our ironclad commitment to the NATO alliance. These are just two examples of how dynamic force deployment provides strategic predictability for satellites, anti-axis aerial denial systems, and other asymmetric capabilities designed to counter our strengths. Meanwhile, in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage. Furthermore, our competitors and
So there you go, folks. We got another reference there to directed energy weapons. If you haven't seen my video on that, check it out. I don't know how to like put videos or like people put like cards like, hey, check out this other video or check out this other video. I don't know how to do that on YouTube. For as much as I've been YouTubing, it's been like 3 months, dude. I think I've learned a lot. I know how to just do simple little things. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to add the I can just show you, because if I can't post it onto my thing after this, no one's gonna How am I not signed in? Military SAT applications. Cute. Victoria's Secret reportedly continued to work with a modeling agency after it was accused of supplying underage girls to J.E. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Clinton. Slick Willie. And this one's a shocker, man. Those were the latest drops, folks. I don't know what the last one means, but you know, if you've done your research, you obviously know the history about Disney, Walt Disney, that 3-3 club, you know. Thank you all for watching. Be safe out there. God bless you all. Where we go one, we go all worldwide.